Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II men's basketball coverage live on the ECC network. Today's matchup features the Molloy College Lions taking on the College of Staten Island Dolphins. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, soon to be joined by former CSI men's basketball head coach and current interim director of athletics, TJ Tibbs. TJ should be joining me right ahead of tip-off this afternoon. But for the Dolphins, they come in looking for their third straight victory. They have opened the season with a record of 2-5. For Molloy College, they enter today's game with a record of 1-7. For the Dolphins, their last two victories, both big ones. The first coming against Pace. That game was played 1 week ago on Saturday, December 4th. The Dolphins picking up a 3-point win over the Setters in dramatic fashion. CSI barely able to hold on in the closing seconds to pick up the 3-point win in that game. It was another 3-point win for the Dolphins back on Wednesday as they traveled to Flushing to take on fellow East Coast Conference institution and CUNY member Queens College. The Dolphins winning that game 67-64. As for Molloy, they come in following a loss in their last game. They took on East Stroudsburg University on Wednesday and dropped that game 91-68. Their lone victory on the season came back on Wednesday, December 1st. They defeated the University of the District of Columbia by a final score of 66-56. So, with the national anthem about to be played and starting lineups introduced, I will step aside and take a break. When I come back, I am joined by TJ Tibbs on the call from the College of Staten Island. Men's basketball takes on Molloy coming up next. And we are back on the ECC network. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside TJ Tibbs with the call of this NCAA Division II men's basketball matchup between the College of Staten Island and Molloy College. Starters have just been introduced out on the floor, and I have those starting lineups for you. First, for the visiting Molloy College Lions in numerical order, number 10, Darren Fergus. Number 12, Stephen Torrey. Number 22, Frankie Fallon. Number 24, Colin Brady. And number 45, Matt Lane. For the Dolphins, it is the usual starting lineup, beginning with 00, Chris Velasquez. Number 5, Austin Mick. Number 12, Bryce Waterman. Number 23, Messiah Mallory. And number 50, Josh Vargas. And, of course, I'd like to welcome in my broadcast partner, TJ Tibbs. TJ, the Dolphins come in having won their last two games. A lot to like from the Dolphins over their last several games now.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, with them getting off to a tough start, playing a tough schedule with a young team, you'd like to see progression throughout the year. And at this point in the season, when you get into ECC play, you're going to see opponents that you're going to see twice throughout the year. So it's important for them to get out to great starts. These are opponents that they've been studying for the last couple of years, the coaching staff. So, you know, they get down and they play teams like Molloy. They had a good win against Pace. And they can play some good basketball as the young guys are starting to grow. And also getting a couple of guys back off of injury is certainly something that helps their depth.
So the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken, have everyone healthy for today's game. And for the Dolphins, this is their first ever meeting with Molloy College. And CSI comes in having split their first two games against the conference, a loss against Damon back on November 23rd. They defeated Queens on Wednesday in a matchup of CUNY institutions. They look to make it 2-1 against the ECC here this afternoon as we are underway from the College of Staten Island. Molloy wins the tip, and it will be Lions basketball to get things started. With it is Fallon on the outside, and he gets it right back off the handoff from Lane. Kick out into the left corner. This is Fergus, right corner. Three-pointer by Brady is good to open up the scoring, and Molloy has a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, great drive, great kick, a little bit of overhelp from the corner, and Brady steps into a wide-open three to get them started.
This is Austin Mick. Last time he stepped foot on this court, he scored 27 points, too short of matching a career high. This is Mallory on the low block. Gives it to Vargas. Free throw line jumper too strong and rebounded by the Lions.
Yeah, they get into Messiah Mallory early. Obviously, he's been having a great season so far. And Josh Vargas, a little-known jump shooter, taking the jump shot from the foul line.
Handoff up top on the drive. This is Torrey. Picks up his dribble and kicks out. Phelan working against Waterman. And once again, for three, it is Brady. Nothing but net on that one, but it's way short.
And you can see both teams are young. Both teams have been struggling. They want to get off to a good start. And you can kind of see what's going on. Both teams trying to establish getting the ball into the paint. CSI via the post up. Molloy via the drive and trying to step into some easy shots to get the young guys going.
The Dolphins picked up the win last time at home on the back of their outside shooting. This is Waterman on the kick out. In the corner, it is Mallory. Deep two-pointer is a bit strong and rebounded by the Lions. With it is Torrey. Gives it up to Fergus. He drives baseline, and a nice layup there by Darren Fergus.
Quick in transition. You just rip baseline, and in transition you're going to have as Bryce Waterman lets go three go.
Speaking of transition baskets, the Dolphins answer right back with a transition basket of their own. Waterman continues his hot shooting.
And that's what you're going to see with these young teams, right? Giving up some easy baskets. So CSI gives up an easy basket on one end in transition, and Molloy gets a shooter loss as another three is hitting the corner.
That's a tough basket right there for Stephen Torrey. Right in the face of the defender as the two teams exchange three-pointers. Lions lead at 8-3. This is Waterman. Baseline pull-up falling away, and it rattles out. Waterman has been a good tough shot shooter over the last couple of games, but struggling through the Dolphins' first five as we have our first travel.
I think it's the quality of the shots for Bryce Waterman. What types of shots is he getting? You know he's going to get the shots up, but is he going to step into some easy threes like he did for his first one? Is the shots going to be contested? How can other guys on the court help him get easy shots? Guys know he's a shooter. He's going to be played closely. But how can he get 3 to 5 easy shots a game? And he stepped into one early and he knocked it down.
Well, to your point, TJ, Nick and I discussed during our last broadcast how if the Dolphins can get Mick and Waterman both some good looks from the outside, they should be able to feed off one another as Mick knocks down his first shot.
And there you go, being a little bit clairvoyant as Austin Mick. And it's important for him. Austin Mick is a two-guard that is playing the one this year for the Dolphins and doing a great job. But he needs other guys like Chris Velasquez, like a Max Dillon Butler when they come in to penetrate and let Austin play off the ball. And that's exactly what Chris did on that possession and got Austin a great drive.
Well, you and Nick are in agreement on that one. Nick constantly mentions how Mick has done his best work off the ball as that's a tough finish inside by Matt Lane through traffic. His team leads by 5.
A real physical move from the freshman. I mean, 7 feet is 7 feet. And he looked really confident on that move, and more importantly on that second jump, getting the best of another freshman for the Dolphins in Vargas.
As we have an illegal screen called against Messiah Mallory, and the Dolphins will turn it over.
So what you want to look for with both of these teams being young and struggling is how easy are the shot attempts that they're giving up on both ends. On CSI's end for defense and Molloy's end for defense. Are they contesting every shot? Are they giving up layups? Are they giving up wide open threes? It's not so much how many points they're giving up, but the quality of the shots that they're giving up are going to lead to better defensive possessions for them. They go right back inside. Sorry.
We saw in the Dolphins' last game, they forced Pace into some tough shots, or at least their last game here at home. And right there, they forced the Lions into a difficult shot as Vargas comes away with the rejection.
Vargas and Lane with a little bit of commentary going back and forth. You love to see the competitiveness early from both freshmen. Going to be battling for the next 4 years in the ECC.
The dawn of a new rivalry, the first of many to take birth this year for the Dolphins. The first meeting ever between CSI and Molloy, one of 2 on the schedule this season.
And I like this. This is good officiating here. You don't want to tee guys up. They're competitive. They're banging down low. Just give them a little words. Let them know if it happens again. You know, there might be a technical foul there, but both guys just playing hard.
This is Velasquez, crossover. Second crossover into the center of the lane. His mid-range pull-up off the mark.
And those are his spots. You look for Chris Velasquez to get to the elbows and to the blocks. He's a mid-range assassin. He's really good off the dribble, and he just missed a tough shot there.
And I think with increased opportunities, we have seen how adept Velasquez is off the dribble this year, and he's gotten the ball in his hands a lot more and has made the most of those opportunities.
It's a huge improvement for him as we head into immediate timeout. A huge improvement for him handling the ball. Came in as a freshman as somebody who just really played defense on one end and knocked down some open shots, but is really improving, creating for himself on the offensive side of the ball.
Heading into our first media timeout, the lead is 10-5 in favor of Molloy.
You can stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us.
To intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Joe Foreman alongside TJ Tibbs with the call of Dolphins and Lions here on the ECC Network. At the line for Molloy is Stephen Torrey for 2 shots. He was fouled underneath heading into that last break, and the first free throw is good. One more for Torrey at the line, and he makes it a 2-for-2 trip to the stripe. Lions by 7.
Couple of subs here for Molloy.
Entering the game for the first time will be number 3, Say Dieng, and also number 32. Want to make sure I have the correct pronunciation. That is Pierce Bizarre entering the game as well for the Lions, along with Kenny Lazo. So 3 Lions making their first appearance, and now a 4th as Justin Caldwell takes the floor.
And that was Say Dieng, who just checked into the game, a good-looking freshman who was a little undersized against Messiah Mallory, but, really played some stout defense down low against the other fellow freshman.
Kick out. That was Lazo on the perimeter. He drives and is forced to pass out of that shot. Nobody home on the wing, and the Dolphins force another turnover.
And you see Molloy is just penetrating and start trying to set up their jump shots by penetration via the guard. So CSI's got to do a little bit better job of keeping the Molloy guards in front and preventing penetration and making them throw the ball a little bit more around the perimeter.
Well, we saw against Pace here at home last time the Dolphins took the floor at the Tank. They forced Pace to take a lot of outside shots in that second half, shots that the setters couldn't knock down, and the Dolphins did a good job protecting the rim, and of course this coaching staff would like to see more of that this afternoon against Molloy.
And if you see Molloy with Josh Vargas, they have number 44, Justin Caldwell, playing in the paint. Josh Vargas is not really known for his jump shot, so Molloy's kind of giving him a jump shot and giving some help more in the paint.
There's a floater by Mick. Can't bank it in, but Vargas with a nice tip to the perimeter. Here comes Waterman on the drive. He finds Vargas. Vargas, post hook, way short. And had the glasses knocked away, but was able to regain them, and it will be Lions basketball.
But Josh Vargas is a really tough player, improving. He's got to get himself deeper into the paint. Right now his body is still improving. And whenever he takes hook shots from outside the paint, it's going to be tough for him to score oversized.
And we have another foul at this end. It will go against the Dolphins. But at the other end of the floor, once Vargas put his back to the basket, and I think that might be my mistake, was it against the Dolphins? We might have had a charge called underneath, and we did. So it's a charging foul against Molloy. But on that last play down low for Vargas, once he put his back to the basket, the Lions swarmed, and Chris Velasquez had some space out on the right wing.
Yeah, and he's improving. Like I said, you got young guys on both teams that are not used to this level of basketball yet. Everything happens a step quicker than it did in high school. And plus, teams coming off COVID years are maybe not playing. So teams knocking off a lot of rust, and you're going to see some spotty play from time to time today.
Frankie Phelan back into the game for Molloy. Dolphins with possession, trailing by 7. As Velasquez will try the left corner 3, and he knocks it down.
And there it is. You're looking for Velasquez to kind of create those looks for Mick like we were talking about earlier, but that's Mick creating for Velasquez, and the ever-improving Chris Velasquez knocks it down the corner.
And we've seen the improvement of Velasquez. I remember being on the trip with the team a couple of years ago, and Velasquez has come such a long way from then, where he was beginning his rise, as that was the open of the 2019 season. This is Mick on the right wing for 3. Off the front rim, no good.
Incredible job by Bryce Waterman. Usually early in the season he would force that up. But obviously you see the scouting report execution by Molloy. 2 guys running out to Bryce. Bryce putting the ball on the deck and finding Austin Mick for one of those shots that we talked about.
as we have a foul committed by Mick. That will be his first. And David Shkolny will check in for the first time. He replaces Messiah Mallory.
Yeah, and Dave, since he's come back, has been a great presence for CSI. Another young guy, a guy that plays extremely hard, is actually known for his offensive abilities, but has been really good with his effort and defense and guarding some bigger guys so far this year.
And Michael Ashley also checked into the game for CSI at the previous stoppage, and he comes away with that board. May have gotten a piece of the shot as well, and he's fouled underneath. But to your point about Shkolny, one of the first things I noticed about him when he took the floor in his first appearance here at the Tank was the hustle and the effort. You could see that from the get-go, but he also played some key minutes down the stretch against Pace as well, coming up with some big hustle plays as well as a key basket down the stretch.
And I think he might have only had 2 points in that game against Pace with a great pass, great creation by Bryce Waterman.
Ashley with the finish.
And I think he had 2 points in that game against Pace, but to your point, his diving on the floor, his hustle, tipping loose balls, his defense, playing undersized, I thought he was the key down the stretch. He didn't put the ball in the basket for the team, but he did a lot of plays that you don't realize that don't go in the box score to help us win that game.
Well, I know how much you appreciate that effort. Would always get fired up on the sideline whenever a player took to the floor. As this is Fergus on the drive, nearly had it knocked away. And the three-pointer by Bazar is good, just ahead of the shot clock expiring.
And a wasted defensive possession for the CSI Dolphins. A great defensive possession. Got down to the end of the shot clock and ended up giving up a wide-open three, but great catch and shoot.
Things got a bit tougher once Michael Ashley went down in the paint, forcing the Dolphins to rotate as Mick with the wide-open three-pointer just off and rebounded by the Lions.
But a good look for Austin, and those are the ones that you want to create. You got to get him going. You got to get him to knock down some shots, and if he gets enough of them, they will fall.
Austin won't miss many of those. More often than not, he'll make you pay from that spot on the floor, given that much room. Lead for Molloy is 5 points as Fergus, through contact, threw up a wild shot, nearly stripped it away from Shkolny, but it will be Dolphins basketball.
As we head into our next media timeout.
Our second media timeout of the first half with just over 11:40 to go in half number one. Lions lead the Dolphins by 5.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag like facing backwards and look like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins trailing by 5 points with just under 12 minutes to play in the first half. And it will be CSI basketball coming out of a media timeout as Justin Ziris takes the floor for Staten Island.
For his home debut, the precocious point guard out of Monsignor Farrell and the future point guard of this program, you know, coming off an injury and easing his way back in. It's good to see him back out into the court.
Justin also a former pupil of our engineer, Antonino Cruciata. So Ziris out on the court also has familiarity with us from the classroom as well. And Austin Mick gets on the board for CSI.
And what Justin Ziris just came in and did was move Austin Mick off the ball. And immediately Austin Mick got an opportunity to create and goes to the basket for 2.
When given the room to do so and not shouldering as much of the point guard responsibilities, Austin certainly has the ability to create his own shot as that three-pointer, an open look, is no good by Dieng and rebounded by Waterman.
A little 2-3 zone look out of the timeout for the CSI Dolphins.
Shkolny took a shot there, absorbed it, fed it inside to Ashley, and he gets the roll underneath.
Name of the game today is transition. When you have teams that are struggling, when they miss a bunch of shots, how can you put it together on the other end in transition? And CSI pushing the ball, getting Michael Ashley in deep position for a look. And here we go again.
And there's another good look underneath for Colin Brady. And the Lions back in front by 3. But, TJ, Nick and I were talking about it. our first impressions of D2 play for the Dolphins, of course, they did get some D2 games in a couple of years ago, but this is the first full D2 schedule. The pace of play really picked up, and that goes to your point about transition.
Yeah, the pace, the size, obviously the skill of the players, everything is just a little bit quicker. The court is a little bit smaller, and then obviously with the addition of the three-point line being extended this year, it's a different game. It really is. It kind of makes the three-point shot a little bit tougher. Obviously, the good three-point shooters are still going to be able to shoot it, but at least for more inside players, we have an N1 down low.
Once again, Colin Brady off the feed, but the way the game has really evolved, both the NBA game and in a way the collegiate game as well, shooters have been moving further and further beyond the arc each year, so the moving of that three-point line doesn't faze many shooters.
It doesn't faze many, you're correct, but the average shooter, the 30% shooter, the 33% shooter, on mid-level volume, they're probably going to go down to about 28%, or maybe they're guys who will second-guess taking that shot. I thought the three-point shot was becoming a little bit too common at this level. We were missing the mid-range player. We were missing some drives. Some of the bigger guys, everybody was shooting threes, so it's kind of calmed it down a little, but it's going to be interesting what we see at the end of the year with the numbers.
One of the traits that has separated good players from great players at the offensive end is Shkolny tried to finish off the window and could not convert. Also into the game, Billy Reyes for the Lions as well. But what really differentiates a good player from a great player at the offensive end of the floor, in my opinion, as that's rebounded by the Dolphins, is versatility. And a lot of players don't like to take that mid-range shot. Down around the rim, the footwork is lacking sometimes. So those are two key things that I look for at that end of the floor that really differentiates players.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see some of that with, especially at this level. You see some of the bigger wings that drive, that post up. You look at a Messiah Mallory, a kid who can step out and shoot the three, who could post up and hit the mid-range jump shot. So those are the little couple differences of when you're playing Division II. And when you're that versatile, you could get yourself on the floor at 4 spots, sometimes 5 spots, depending on who you're playing for.
The multi-position player also a growing trend in the game as the Dolphins forced a turnover at the other end, nearly committed one at the offensive end, but it's tipped out by Brady, and it will remain Dolphins ball as we have some more substitutions coming on. Luis Armas into the game for CSI, and back into the game is Stephen Torrey for the Lions.
And what you want to look for with Luis Armas checking to the game, another freshman, another well-bodied, good-bodied kid, he's obviously a kid who can really shoot the ball well. What you want to see is, how he plays on defense, how he's able to attack the basket. What are the other things that he does for CSI Dolphins in his minutes?
Messiah Mallory also came back into the game for CSI as the Dolphins narrowly avoiding another turnover yet again.
I think the biggest thing you're seeing with these two teams is as we're going along in the first half, the game is getting a little bit sloppier. It isn't as crisp as it was in the first 4 minutes or the first 8 minutes, and they're going a little bit deeper into their bench. So you're seeing the play drop down a little bit, and you can tell why these teams have struggled this year.
As Ziris knocks down his first shot in the tank.
And I believe his first college points, and that's got to be great for him to knock that off. A kid that's worked really hard to get where he's at, and it's great to see him score his first 2 points in front of a load of family, a host of family. Obviously with his brother being a former player here, his father being a former player here, and now we have the third edition of the Ziris family.
Brady couldn't convert on the inside on that last attempt as the Dolphins once again narrowly avoiding a turnover. There's a good pass to Mallory. A nice look from the wing, and Messiah knocks it down.
And a great ball movement. David Shkolny turned down a good shot to get Messiah Mallory a great shot, and we were just talking about that. Messiah Mallory, probably the most versatile player on the CSI Dolphins roster. We've seen him go to him for post-ups, and now we see him get a nice catch-and-shoot opportunity, and they cut it down to 1.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, TJ. Mallory has displayed that versatility at the offensive end, and he's been knocking down threes the Dolphins' last several games, polished on the low post, has the mid-range shot, can put his back to the basket. He can do it all at this end of the floor. He has it right now in the corner. Hands off to Armas. Armas right back to Mallory, back to the basket. And we have a foul against Reyes. That will be his first since checking into the game.
And as we head into our next media time, I just want to make a quick point. You've seen Luis Armas already improving. He came out, he could have took 2 tough shots. He got it down to Messiah Mallory down low, who was against somebody on the sides, and they picked up a foul. That's the progression you're looking for from the young guys.
No doubt about that. And Mallory also taxing to the defense underneath as both teams get a much-needed break with this media timeout. Lions by 1, just over 7.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins trailing by 1 point, but they have it with a chance to take the lead coming out of that last media timeout.
Looks like Molloy going 2-3 out of bounds. Look for a trap in the corner if the ball goes to the strong corner. There it is.
Dolphins navigate that trap perfectly as Mallory doesn't get the roll on the three. Big rebound by Ashley, but he is stripped. Here come the Lions. Chance to add to their lead. Dolphins have had the advantage the last few minutes as that three-pointer not close by Torrey. This is Mallory back out to Ziris. Bounce pass inside, not handled by Ashley, but it will remain Dolphins ball.
So you're looking out on the floor, you have freshman, if that was 4 freshmen, and a sophomore for CSI, and all newcomers. So you have a bunch of newcomers out there, a bunch of guys with Justin Ziris getting the second game of the year who haven't been able to play with each other. So you want to see how solid they could be defensively and how much they can move the ball offensively, this group.
Armas uses the screen from Ashley. Step back jumper is good.
And that's something that he can do. Lou's going to come in. That was great action. There's not a lot of people in college basketball that can hit a shot like that, come off a pin down, come back off with a ball screen, get his feet set, hit it tough too. I mean, that's what Louis Armas is capable of doing.
And we saw Armas getting some shots up very early this morning when Joe and I were in the office at 8:30 a.m. Off the fake, the jump shot by Torrey is good.
And a tough shot from Torrey, a veteran, a senior on the roster, hitting a tough two, turning down the three, missed one in the possession before, I believe, and pulled up for a tough one and knocked it down.
Well, if you're the Dolphins, you can live with that. A very difficult shot by Torrey as CSI works it around the perimeter to Armas. His three-pointer is short.
Good look for Armas.
Here come the Lions in transition. Pull up just inside the free throw line, and getting the roll was Frankie Fallon.
Frankie Fallon with a tough shot. Here we go again. He's, like I said, got young guys out there, transition. How can we get settled in transition and stop easy baskets from happening?
Attempting the bounce pass to the baseline was Armas looking for Mallory, and we had a whistle along the baseline. Possession remains with CSI.
Let's see if Molloy goes 2-3. It looks like they're in man-to-man this time. They only came 2-3 out of the timeout.
That pass just over the outstretched arms of Mick Brown, who gets his first action coming out of that last timeout. This is Shkolny, 10 to shoot. Michael Ashley lost it, but he lost it off of Brady underneath. 8 to shoot for the Dolphins.
Molloy again, man-to-man out of bounds. It looks to be their base defense out of bounds, and the only time they came in zone was off the timeout. 8 seconds to shoot.
Shkolny, three-point attempt, rolls off. And here come the Lions the other way, looking to push. Brown reels it in underneath. That pass was stifled by Shkolny, and that will force Molloy to reset.
Now we get CSI's defense set. So it's Molloy's offense versus CSI's defense. How can they play in the half court on defense?
Thinking about a three was Brady. This is Torrey again. Around the back, gets him past Ashley. Circus layup attempt is no good, but possession stays with the Lions.
Bryce Waterman checking in now. You're going to see either Bryce Waterman or Davis Coney slide over to the 4. And the last shot from Bryce Waterman was a tough shot, right? He hadn't shot the ball in a while. We're talking about the quality of his shot attempts. He came down and took a 1-on-3 shot in transition. Look for him to try to get going on an easy shot.
Getting inside was Fergus. Couldn't finish over Mallory, but he grabs his own miss. 15 on the shot clock off of the offensive board. Here comes Fergus on the drive. Kick out. Torrey, three-pointer over Waterman. Not even close. Tough shot there, attempted by Torrey. Good defense by Waterman. He closed quickly. This is Armas, top of the arc, open three-pointer off back iron. And we had a foul committed underneath on the rebound by Mallory.
And a great look for Lou. He's had 3 pretty good looks. He's 1 for 3. You know, those are the ones you want him to shoot. And you could tell Justin Zeres, the strength of his game is transition. And you can tell with him coming off the injury that he's not pushing it as much as you would normally in transition. So that's something as the Dolphin season goes along, you'll start to see some of these young guys getting some easier shots in transition as Justin gets more healthy.
Torrey was trapped between 3 Dolphins, got it out to the perimeter. This is Phelan on the drive, drops it off to Torrey. He collided with Armas on the cut, and the whistle underneath went against the Dolphins. Foul charge to Zeres. That's the team's 5th for Zeres. That is his first personal. Inbound goes to Brady. 18 to shoot. On the outside, this is Phelan, hands off. Now Fergus directing traffic. He will use the screen from Brown. Brady on the cut. Mallory may have gotten a piece, and that's rebounded by Velasquez.
Great defensive possession for CSI. See what they get in transition.
Waterman thought about a 3. Now Velasquez will look to take it inside the arc. Mallory, mid-range shot from the corner, no good.
And in transition, that's great drive, great ball movement. A couple people turn down shots. You'd rather that shot be a 3 from somebody. If you're going to take a long jump shot that early in transition, you'd rather him have his feet behind the line to go for more points.
There's a tough pull-up. No good by Phelan. Rebound to CSI again. It has been over 3.5 minutes since the Dolphins' last basket. That's Waterman. Quick trigger on the 3. That one a brick, tipped up in the air by Brown, and he pulls in the rebound.
That's another contested shot from Bryce. I know Bryce wants to get going, but he's got to be a little bit more patient. Obviously, those are shots that he can hit, but you want to look for him to get.
Wayne State Medical School has been.
And we apologize for that quick cut to commercial. Unintentional, of course. As the score remains the same. 24-21 Molloy. The last 4 points belong to the Lions heading into this media timeout. 2:54 on the clock in the first half.
For me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
And we're back from the tank. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside TJ Tibbs. Dolphins trailing by 3 points with under 3 minutes to play in the first half. CSI briefly led in this first half, 21-20, following a Luis Armas step-back jumper at the 6:57 mark, but it has now been over 4 minutes since the last CSI basket.
Yeah, and also this is CSI broadcast, but Molloy's doing a great job as they switch defenses here. They're in a 1-3-1 out of the timeout.
See how the Dolphins navigate the zone defense, as we haven't seen that much in the half court, with the exception of one inbounds pass coming out of a timeout. CSI looking for an opening. They find one as Waterman knocks down the 3 from the corner.
And that's the Justin Zeres effect. Justin Zeres with incredible vision, knows where to find his shooters. Bryce Waterman getting that open look in the zone that he might not be able to get in man-to-man in the half court today. And Justin Zeres finding Bryce for a 3.
Score now even at 24. as we approach 2 minutes to go in the first half. This is Brown, feed inside underneath, and Caldwell with the drop step into a foul. He will head to the line.
That's just a veteran senior, a redshirt senior, I believe. Yeah, a redshirt senior. A little bit bigger than Messiah. Messiah giving up too much ground early, deep post position, and with no choice but to contest hard on the foul. And the redshirt senior, Caldwell, goes to the line for two.
Caldwell stands 6'7", 217 pounds, from Roosevelt, New York. He heads to the line for two shots. And that's a Sean Marion-esque free throw right there by Caldwell.
Caldwell definitely not known for his shooting, but earned the two shots. And, pretty good touch for the form. As long as the ball goes in, it doesn't matter.
That shooting form very reminiscent of the former Dallas Maverick and Phoenix Sun. As the second free throw, too strong off back iron as well. So an 0 for 2 trip to the line for Caldwell. CSI can now take the lead again. Velasquez working against Dieng, gives it up to Ziris.
Molloy half in man, half in zone. They don't know. This is a young team. They don't know what defense they're in.
And off the miss, Mallory grabbed the board. And that's a tough foul against Caldwell as the ball got stuck between his legs.
Appropriately said. So what you see with Molloy changing defenses, they were in a 1-3-1, which they normally don't play, and they play for one possession, it looked like. So they had half their team in zone, half their team in man, and which created the open shot for Velasquez in the corner. So I'm sure that's something they're going to look to clean up after this 30-second timeout.
So with that timeout, we'll step aside very quickly and take a break. Score tied at 24, under 2 minutes to play in the first half.
Well, for me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same
And we're back here on the ECC Network. Score tied at 24 as the Dolphins do retrieve that basketball, and they inbound with 17 remaining on the shot clock. Wide open mid-range for Velasquez, and rebounded by Caldwell.
And it's interesting, and we talked about how Caldwell was guarding Vargas earlier because Vargas not known for his shooting, but it looks like Caldwell is guarding Messiah Mallory in the same way. So I think it's more of a strategy for what Molloy wants to do with Caldwell in defense than it is the personnel on the other side.
And there's a strong take to the rim by Caldwell as he finishes off glass to put his team back in front by a pair. Low-scoring first half from the Tank. 1:15 remaining in half number one as that's knocked out of bounds off the fingertips of Velasquez.
Two guys who haven't played together that much, and that just showed. I mean, Chris coming off, probably not feeling like he was open. Justin feeling like he was open, just figuring it out.
We approach the 1 minute mark in half number one. Lions with it, leading by 2. Looking for somewhere to go with it is Phelan. Now will dribble to his left. Step back, and that rattles in.
And it's interesting to see as they change lineups. There's a lot of guards out there, but number 15, Mick Brown, it looked like he was playing a little bit of a forward spot for them, posting up and setting some cross screens. So it's interesting as Molloy subs and CSI subs, and they have some undersized personnel as both teams are undersized, where they put people on the floor. As it looks like Molloy is going to stick traditionally with a 4 and 5, and sometimes CSI is playing with 4 guys on the perimeter.
45 seconds on the clock. Lions could go 2 for 1 right here if they hurry.
A lost art in college basketball.
I'm always keeping track of those 2 for 1s. Nick and I love the 2 for 1. As that opportunity will go by the wayside here. That was Brown with an ugly-looking pass straight to the Dolphins on the inside, and now CSI has the last shot.
Now, the last time CSI had this opportunity at a home game, I believe it was against Pace, they shot with 9 seconds left on the clock. So they didn't get the true last shot. Let's see what this young team does with 15 seconds on the clock now and if they actually get the last shot.
10 seconds remaining in the half. Zirish uses the Ashley screen. And that pass knocked away by Caldwell. 5 seconds on the clock. Here come the Lions on the break. And Torrey finishes the layup as time expires in the first half. The Lions will take a 6-point lead into the locker room. Our score at the break, Molloy College 30, CSI 24.
And I think that's just the mark of a young team. Justin hasn't played that much. Definitely is the guy you want to have the ball in the hands in that situation, and just comes off the screen. And you don't mind a turnover trying to make a play, but turn the ball over a little bit too early. At worst, you want to go down 4, go into the halftime down 4. But now they're down 6, and see what the adjustments are made after halftime.
Our score at the break, Lions 30, Dolphins 24. When we come back, the second half of this NCAA Division II men's basketball matchup.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
When your car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island. Be sure to check out the Kettle Black's monthly calendar of events, only at kettleblackbar.com. The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island. Be sure to check out the Kettle Black's monthly calendar of events, only at kettleblackbar.com.
Car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body It's 718-447.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
When your car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
Hi, Meals on Wheels. I'm Marco. I'm a college student, and I volunteer as a driver for Meals on Wheels. I think it's awesome meeting these people. I mean, they're so interesting. They've had so many wonderful experiences in life. Your community helps to raise you up into the person that you become. Meals on Wheels is a great way to give back to that community.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To is Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at It's On Us.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. Joe Foreman and TJ Tibbs rejoining you with the call of the second half between the Dolphins and the Lions here on the ECC Network. Dolphins trailing by 6 entering the second half. And we're on the heels of what was a very nice halftime presentation to honor college president Dr. William J. Fritz, who will be retiring at the end of the calendar year. Wanted to give a special thank you to Dr. Fritz for his time here on campus and his support of athletics on the broadcast as well.
And, of course, as we know, he's done an incredible job. I was fortunate enough to be a student here when he was the provost, when he started out. And him and his wife, Bonnie, who I have so much love for, has always supported athletics. When we made our Sweet 16 run, and shout out to a bunch of my teammates who are here today with Alumni Day, but when we made our Sweet 16 run in 2012, Bonnie and President Fritz were always at games. I mean, she still teases me about the sneakers that I wore when I played. They have always supported, and then when he was promoted to president, has obviously done a lot of great things to help us progress. So we're going to miss him dearly. It was a nice ceremony that we had here, and I can't say enough in this short amount of time about the work that he has done to get us where we need to go.
So the half opened with a missed shot by Austin Mick, and the Dolphins force a turnover at the other end. So it is CSI basketball still trailing by 6.
It's always interesting to see what guys talk about at halftime, what coaches talk about at halftime, and you can kind of tell by what they do coming out the timeout. CSI was trying to get Bryce Waterman going, and they were trying to throw the ball inside of Molloy. So obviously they were focuses as they came out of halftime.
Molloy forcing an air ball from the baseline. Comes Fergus, burst to the rim. He goes down, but the rebound goes to the Lions, and drawing the foul underneath was Matt Lane.
Dolphins foul, number 23,
Messiah Mallory charged with the personal foul.
The Messiah picking up his third early, a minute and 15 seconds in. See what Coach Duran does. Looks like he's going to sub David Sconey in from Asai Mallory, try to save him for the rest of the second half.
You can see Mallory a bit frustrated with himself, but he will head back to the bench with 18:45 on the clock in the second half. Second free throw from Lane, too strong off the back rim and rebounded by the Dolphins. So 1 of 2 trip for Lane. Dolphins moving up the floor quickly. Shkolny, wide open three-pointer. No good, and tipped out of bounds by Vargas. It will be Lions ball.
Young teams, and that's the theme today. Young teams and teams that are struggling off a free throw miss, you get a transition three, and that's something both coaches are looking to prevent. You want to be able to get your defense set after a free throw, and luckily for Molloy, David Sconey missed a wide open three.
Dolphins on the season as a team shooting 33.5% from downtown as that pull-up off the backboard is good. Good-looking shot there by Frankie Phelan. He's hit some tough shots today.
He has, and he has looked like the most experienced player on the floor, which indeed he is. And he's going to look to carry a load for the offense for Molloy as Molloy stretches out what I believe to be the biggest lead at 9.
And the Dolphins nearly turning it over, but they get it back and throw it away again. As Torrey able to keep it in as he fell into the Dolphins bench. And now the Lions with a chance to go in front by double digits.
Tough start for CSI coming out of the half. Just haven't gotten anything going on the offensive end. And Molloy has just been rolling after that first mishap at the first possession as they get another post bucket down low.
Well, Colin Brady has feasted down low. Right there, he knocks down the baseline turnaround. He now has 10 points, and the Dolphins will call a timeout less than 3 minutes into this second half. So we will step aside and take a quick break. Our score, 35-24 Molloy.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins now trailing by double digits yet again. The deficit is 11 for CSI as they will inbound from the sideline. This is Mick with it. 22 on the shot clock.
I just want to make a comment. Coach Marquardt not coaching like he has a team that has been struggling. He's down in a defensive stance the whole entire time his team is on defense. I love the energy from Coach.
A lot of energy coming from the Molloy bench right now as they are in the midst of a scoring run to open up the second half. All 5 points in the second half belong to the Lions. They have also scored, I believe now, 15 of the last 18 points as they do commit the offensive foul on that possession, and the Dolphins get the ball right back.
Got to look for some continuity on offense. Got to be able to get some good shots up on offense for the Dolphins. See what they come down here and do.
Dolphins 10 of 33 from the floor, just over 30%. Vargas thought about the mid-range, now picks up his dribble, gives it back to Velasquez. 10 to shoot for CSI. This is Shkolny. Shkolny to the basket, and offensive foul is the call, and Shkolny can't believe it.
See, me personally, I just don't love calls like that. Just sliding, there's no push-off from the offensive player, and you know, it's a physical game. I've been watching these games. We've been playing some bigger teams, and guys are bumping, and our guys are smaller. And you have somebody make a strong move to the basket. I'm not a fan of the charge in general. It's got to be an offensive foul. But tough call and good take by the Molloy defender, and they'll come back down and try to extend this lead to 11 or 12.
Seems like the NBA game has certainly gotten less physical over the years, as that now trickles down to the collegiate level as well. On the drive, and again attempting a tough mid-range shot, was Phelan, but he drew the foul. The question is, was it in the act of shooting? I don't believe so. And the Lions will inbound.
And a hit on the pass point is just, you want to reward good defense. And, you know, charges are one thing, but they're going to need to figure it out in the NCAA, how they're going to ref physicality. Is it going to go the way of the NBA game, or is it going to be physical like it usually is that we see in the Division I level?
This is Vargas, open free throw line jumper, off the mark, and rebounded by Lane. Phelan, alley-oop pass for Brady, and he could not bank it in, but Fergus grabs the rebound and is fouled. Austin Mick charged with the foul, and we are 1 second inside of 16 minutes, and that means media timeout. So TJ and I will take a break. When we come back, Dolphins looking to cut into an 11-point lead.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experience as possible.
And we are back from the tank. Dolphins trailing by 11 points, just inside of the 16-minute mark in the second half. CSI also still in search of their first points here in the second half. It has been a struggle at the offensive end for the Dolphins.
And I don't know how long they didn't score to the end of the first half, but they haven't scored a bucket in a long time. They haven't gotten a quality shot attempt. I mean, they got the Davis Sconey left wing open three, but other than that, they haven't gotten a quality shot attempt at all in a very long time. So young teams are going to go through ruts. You see Molloy go through a little bit of a rut in the middle of the first half, and now CSI is going through their run. They're going to have to respond.
At the line for the Lions is Darren Fergus. And we're trying to find that last CSI score, and it was a three-pointer by Bryce Waterman at the 2:36 mark in the first half.
So you're talking about over 8 minutes and 36 seconds of basketball that they haven't scored yet. So, and they haven't gotten quality shots. So CSI has to get a quality look as they look to come down here right now.
Chance of defense from the Lions bench. Dolphins in desperate need of a bucket here. This is Mick. Handoff to Velasquez, uses the Skolny screen. Around the back dribble, had to pick up his dribble, and now with 10 to shoot, this is Waterman. Waterman nearly gave it away, and chasing it down to the floor was Lazo, and here come the Lions. And that ball is thrown away by Molloy, so a gift for the Dolphins there as they were forced to scramble back after that turnover.
And a lot of stale, no movement, a lot of throwing the ball around the perimeter. They're not breaking down the defense of CSI Dolphins. A little confusion there on the substitution of who was coming in for who for CSI's. Austin Mick checks out of the game.
I had to try and find Max Dillon Butler for a second. I lost him in the shuffle as he quickly gets his first touch, and he travels.
And tough. Max Dillon didn't see any minutes in the first half, and 15 minutes and 18 seconds in, he gets his first touch and a traveling call.
Well, Butler had been one of the first players off of the Dolphins bench in many games this year, but with the return of Justin Ziris, clearly Max Dillon has seen his minutes impacted in this game.
And another Staten Island kid, another freshman, and got more opportunities with Davis Sconey and Justin Ziris both out. And now that they're both back in, trying to figure out the rotation of who's going to play when and how.
This one beginning to slip away from the Dolphins a bit. They trail by 15, but CSI really struggling for offense right now. They need a basket as Waterman gets a good look from the mid-range and hits.
Waterman for two.
That finally breaks the Lions' scoring run. First 9 points of this second half belonging to Molloy. And there's a fake by Torrey, and he throws it off the head of Caldwell, who wasn't looking, and good defensive recovery there and closeout by the Dolphins to force the errant pass.
Yeah, a little miscommunication. Torrey got into his shot early, was going to get it blocked, and Caldwell already went for the rebound. So a little miscommunication and a rare second-half turnover for Molloy.
Butler up top to Ashley, now Velasquez. Velasquez to Butler. 10 to shoot. Butler works toward the baseline, sends it back up top to Shkolny. Now Waterman looking for somewhere to go, and he hands it right to the Lions. Here comes Fergus. Fergus turns on the Jets and lost it as he stumbles out of bounds. Dolphins have numbers if they hurry. This is Waterman to Velasquez, and Velasquez with the baseline pull-up. No good. Shkolny fights for the rebound and could not save it.
And that's a shot that Chris Velasquez, usually hits blocks and elbows. And he's been struggling a little bit today to get going. Had that 1-3. I know that he hit in the corner in the first half, but good offensive possession. Bryce Waterman turned down a 3 for a better shot for Chris Velasquez, but CSI's got to put together a couple of strings of stops here.
Lions lead by 13 points with 13 and a half to play in half number 2. Post turnaround too long by Brady and rebounded by the Dolphins. CSI is getting stops, but they need baskets as Shkolny is whistled for another offensive foul.
And that one is different from the last one. That one was clear. You have a defender moving their feet. You have David extending the arm a little bit. That one was a lot more clear. That's what I'm talking about, the difference between a charge and offensive foul. Offensive fouls should stay in the game. Offensive players shouldn't be able to get an advantage by extending his hand or lowering his shoulder. But great defensive position and an offensive foul for CSI.
The Dolphins felt they could wait no longer to get Messiah Mallory back in the game. He checks in with 3 personal fouls at the 13-16 mark. Lions will inbound with a 13-point lead, and bringing it up will be Kenny Lazo. He crosses over to his right, created some space, was double-teamed, and now Caldwell drops it off to Brown. This is Phelan using the screen. Kick out to Dieng. Dieng floater over a pair of outstretched arms and rebounded by the Dolphins as Waterman trying to find somewhere to go with it has Mallory. Mallory to Butler. Butler on the drive through contact, no basket. And the Dolphins will inbound.
Lions foul number 22, Frankie Keelan, his first team second.
This is Mallory against Caldwell, crossover. Half spin, works his way underneath, dropped it off to Ashley, and he is fouled.
Lions foul number 15, Nick Brown, his first, team's third.
The Dolphins will inbound from the baseline as they attend to a wet spot on the floor. 12:40 on the clock in the second half, and $20 to shoot for the Dolphins once they resume play at this end of the floor. Butler will be the inbounder for CSI, and Phelan standing right in front of him, not giving him much room to breathe along the baseline. And Waterman, open three-pointer, rattles out, and that is rebounded by Mick Brown. Dolphins with 2 points through the first 7 minutes and 30 seconds of the half.
See if they could get a stop here. Sorry, Joe.
Phelan has it, and the defense has been there for CSI. If the offense can turn it up a notch at the other end of the floor, they can get themselves right back into this game. As that shot way off, Dieng had it. It was knocked away by Waterman, And there are 2 seconds on the shot clock.
So you got 2 on the shot clock, so you got to look for something rolling to the rim or something to the strong side. Oh, they're not even guarding him. Here to the rim. Quick shot here. There's a quick. Got to get a hand up. Got to get a hand up.
Brown throws up an out-of-control floater. Way off, an air ball, and the Dolphins have a chance the other way as Mallory is double-teamed and stripped. Lions now running in transition. Dump off to Dieng is knocked away. Good recovery by Michael Ashley as he hustled back. And we will have a media timeout inside of 12 minutes. When we come back, Dolphins trailing 39-26, just inside of 12 minutes to play in the second half.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back from the tank. It will be Molloy basketball for less than a fraction of a second coming out of the break as they promptly turn it over off of the inbound. So the Dolphins get another gift. They have possession right back. As this is Max Dillon Butler on the left wing, out to Mallory. Now Ziris. Butler again, as the Dolphins just can't find any open space, and they turn it over. This is Phelan. Scoop layup with the backhand off target. And it will be 2 free throws for Phelan as Michael Ashley picks up his second foul. It is the team's 6th. Not many free throws attempted in this game. Only 9. And all 9 free throws belonging to Molloy College. Number 10 is good. That makes it 7 of 10 from the line.
You still see CSI Dolphins struggling on the offensive end. Turnovers, balls not touching the paint, in transition. Messiah Mallory dribbling down to the corner with his back turned. So they can't get into any rhythm, the rhythm that they had from about 14 minutes, I would say, to about 8 or 7 minutes in the first half. So they're losing that rhythm. They got to get it back, and they got to get, an early basket and got to get out in transition a little bit more as the clock's winding down.
Dolphins running out of time to get it right at the offensive end of the floor. The deficit now 14 points, just under 11 and a half minutes to go in the game. CSI hoping for a spark from Justin Ziris off the bench as another foul committed underneath. That's 14 fouls for Molloy. The Dolphins have committed 6, so the Lions will be in the 1-and-1 bonus with the next Dolphins foul.
A little personal gripe here. Another thing about the outdated rules of men's NCAA basketball, 20-minute halves. You got nobody was in the bonus at all in the first half. Same basketball game, and now CSI will be in the bonus within 9 minutes of the basketball game, and Molloy already has 4 fouls, so need to go to quarters immediately. This game is just being ref completely different from what it was in the first half, to nobody's advantage, but this is just another rule change that needs to happen.
That certainly makes a difference, especially in a close game down the stretch, as those foul tallies are key in the closing minutes. And we saw that last time the Dolphins were here against Pace. I think it was 9 fouls to none at one point, and then down the stretch, Pace had to foul 5 times to send the Dolphins to the line. That actually proved key in the final result as it hurt the Setters at the end of the game. They did have an opportunity to tie and failed to do so, but fouls a critical part of the game, certainly impacted by the format with 2 halves as Ashley goes 1 of 2 from the stripe.
The women's game has it right. Advancing the ball later in the fourth quarter, the foul rules that reset, that the women's game has a right. We're the only entity in the world. And here we go. So we have foul off the ball that wasn't called as prevalently in the first half, and now you're going to have a free throw shooting contest for the rest of the game.
The Dolphins can't afford to give away points at the line right now, but to your point, I never understood why the ball doesn't advance on a timeout in the men's game. It seems to everywhere else.
Well,
I just don't get it.
If you want the honesty of it, it's because men's basketball rules is run by a lot of people that have been in the game for a long time and just refuse to change the rules. So you look at FIBA basketball, you look at high school basketball, you look at NBA basketball, you look at WNBA basketball, everybody plays quarters. We're the only entity that plays halves. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make for better gameplay. It's a worse product. So but what it does is give more media timeouts so you can
add
sell.
Revenue, baby.
So don't tell me that it's not enough money to do things.
A lot has changed due to the income generated by ad revenue as the Dolphins turn it over yet again. The Lions on the break, a beautiful bounce pass, as I think that was Phelan who went down to the floor at center court, but a beautiful feed to Dieng, who finished the layup underneath. Phelan helped to his feet. He is a big reason why his team is now leading by 18 points.
Yeah, Molloy has just been the aggressor. They just have more energy. They've gotten out in transition. They've done a lot of things that they didn't do in the first half. And when you have teams that are struggling and they see some light, they want to jump on it. You know, they haven't had a lot of opportunities to finish games or to be ahead this much, and they're taking big advantage of the Dolphins right now.
Well, despite the sloppy play of CSI in the second half, the turnover battle still relatively close. 16 Dolphin turnovers to 13 Lions turnovers, but Molloy has shot 16 of 41. The Dolphins 11 of 37. As Butler can't finish inside, and Phelan with the rebound. Dolphins have led in this game for only 26 seconds. That was back in the first half. It was 21-20 CSI. Since then, 25 of the last 31 points scored by the Lions. If the Dolphins have numbers, this is Mallory from Butler, and he finishes through contact and one.
The first time they've been able to get out in transition in the second half, and only 5 points in the first 10 minutes of the second half. So that's the story. I mean, Molloy, defensively for CSI, Molloy has 45 points. It's not a lot of points, even though they're playing well. It's about stopping people on defense. So I'm sorry, it's about getting better shots on offense.
Dolphins need both right now, as they can't afford to allow many more baskets at the defensive end, but you said it. In the second half, struggling for offense, the CSI team only 5 points, make it 6, and their deficit is 15 with 10:05 on the clock. This is Phelan. Yes, Caldwell takes the handoff right back. And Mallory was tripped up as Phelan went to the floor. That left Brady wide open, but he couldn't hit.
They have numbers.
Ziris lost it. And Caldwell was stripped, but the Dolphins are whistled for the foul. And it's back to the line for Molloy.
Just to go back to, I know I'm going to hammer this point, so now we have 8 fouls to 6. Similar type of game. The intensity of the game didn't really ramp up. The style of the game didn't ramp up. It's not like a team went from playing zone to playing man. The game is just being ref completely differently from the first half. So now you see a transition foul, which is a silly foul for CSI, being rewarded with a one-on-one opportunity. But I promise you, it's the last time I'm believing that point about the rules and how the women's game just has it right. It's just so much more pure to watch the women's game and the way the game flows.
Well, the numbers certainly backing up your point, as in the first half we had 12 foul calls. Already here in the second half, with just under 10 minutes to play, 14.
Without a change in physicality, without a change in driving to the basket, it's the same game that we're watching, just being reffed a little bit differently.
Mallory posting up, and he is fouled. That's what the Dolphins need. Stop the clock, points at the line, and they might be able to claw their way back.
In a game like this, officiate is going to benefit, at least the way the game is going, should benefit Molloy. Molloy has been the ones from the beginning who have been penetrating from their guards. CSI has been settling for some jump shots and some post play, and here you get a foul and a post up from Asai Mallory to shoot too, but Molloy has been the team that has been penetrating at will.
Molloy in the second half, 15 points, 7 of those coming from the free throw line. For the Dolphins, they have 7. 3 of those have come from the stripe, and the shooting here in the second half has been abysmal. The two teams are combined 6 of 24, 25%, 4 of 14 for the Lions, 2 of 10 for the Dolphins. As Mallory goes 2 of 2 from the line. And I think we have an error up on the scoreboard. We do. We'll get that fixed. The correct score, 45-32. 45-32. As the Dolphins turn it over again and commit a foul. At the line for Molloy is Darren Fergus. As we have the score corrected. Once again, our on-screen scoreboard reflects the scoreboard here in the building. So what you see on your screen is the score as represented by our in-house scoreboard. Score now correct, 47-32 in favor of Molloy following another trip to the line. Now more than half of the Lions' points coming via free throws in the second half, and a foul was called on Mallory contesting for that rebound underneath.
I think that was Michael Ashley, Joe.
You're right, TJ. That was Michael Ashley. Messiah was clearly upset by the call as it went against his team. And
great defense by number 3, Dieng. You know, coming into the game 6'3", guarding a 6'7" Mallory, and on Messiah's end, settling for a little turnaround instead of trying to punish and get more position into the paint. But you got to credit the freshman Dieng for fighting down low and making it tough.
Things have not come easily on the interior for CSI in this game, as the second free throw is good. 1 of 2 trip from the line for Colin Brady. Just under 8:50 to play. His team leading by 16. Time running out on CSI. They need to get it together at the offensive end, and will have to stop fouling, as I'm not sure they have much of a choice in that matter. Mick, open left wing 3 is good. And the Dolphins back to within 13 again.
Great ball movement. Justin Zaris creating the one more opportunity, and Austin Mick, that we haven't been able to call his name too much, stepping in for a 3.
8:20 to play. Molloy by 13, and they turn it over yet again. That's 15 turnovers for the Lions in this game. Dolphins with 18.
A bunch of them unforced, too. It's a miscommunication. Like I said, we talked about these guys being young. We have a timeout being called, which should extend to the media. Right.
So with that, we will step aside and take a quick break. Dolphins hanging on in this game. They trail by 13, but they will have it when we come back.
Car is damaged. Where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4890.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins trailing by 13 with possession in the closing minutes of the first half. Or excuse me, the second half. As CSI has hardly scored in half number 2. Their point total not much different from the first half, but that could help as David Shkolny can't connect from 3. Mallory with the offensive rebound. He's fired up, and the Dolphins are back within 11.
The only difference in that possession from the other possessions is that the last 2 possessions, the ball has touched the paint for CSI. They have to penetrate and not just throw the ball around the perimeter.
Points in the paint in this game, 18-12 in favor of the Lions. There's Phelan, can't connect from 3, and the Dolphins are seeing the momentum shift in their favor here. They can pull back to within single digits as they are in the 1-1 bonus right now, so any foul would also send them to the line. Waterman up top, 12 to shoot. Now Mick. Mick, wide open three-pointer. Off the rim, no good.
And if you're a CSI Dolphin fan, you're waiting for what Austin Mick is waiting to shoot the ball for. He was open 3 or 4 different times in that one catch. He's got to be able to shoot that for the team to be good.
And that ball stripped away by CSI off fingertips of Brady, but last touched by the Dolphins. And I initially thought Mick was going to pull the shot from 2 or 3 steps beyond the arc. That is certainly well within his range, but chose to get a bit closer, and it worked out. It was an open attempt for Mick, but couldn't knock it down, and now the Lions have 12 to shoot inside of 7 minutes to play.
You need Austin Mick to shoot the ball when he's open for CSI to be a good basketball team. It's just that simple.
This is Fergus, mid-range pull-up. Tough shot over Mick. It rattles out. That was halfway down. Here come the Dolphins looking to push. Mick with the crossover, takes it to the rim, and he finishes the scoop layup. Dolphins back to within single digits.
The 3rd time in the last 4 possessions that the ball has touched the paint, and that has been the difference.
We have a whistle. As play was stopped, I'm not exactly sure why, as Justin Zier is trying to fire up Austin Mick on his way back up the floor. And there is some confusion as I still don't know how play can be stopped there with the ball halfway up the floor and 5 seconds off the shot clock.
I think they called an injury timeout. We see 22 Frankie Phelan seeing the trainer behind the bench. I think that was an injury timeout.
So an injury timeout. I completely missed it. That's my mistake. As Dieng drives, met by Mallory, and he banks it in. That is a huge shot from Molloy.
Great drive. Really impressed by Molloy's young guys. They play really, really hard, and even though they've been struggling, they have been doing a great job on both ends of the floor today.
Zieris was looking for Waterman, and once he left his feet, that became a near impossible pass, and that's a Dolphins turnover. For Molloy, that shot by Dang underneath was their first made field goal since the 10:41 mark, and that 10:41 made shot also made by Dang.
And that's the game of runs we're talking about, but the Dolphins just haven't been able to get over that hump. They went down in too much of a hole in the first 10 minutes, only scoring, I believe, 5 points when Messiah Mallory got his N1 before the break. And it's just been tough as Molloy gets another tough basket.
That's a strong finish by Fergus, who contorted his body underneath and was able to bank it in from a tough spot. Dolphins will need to be near perfect the rest of the way to have a shot. And that won't do it as Mick lost the handle and dribbled it on the baseline.
If you're CSI, you got to think about extending pressure here. You've only scored 39 points in 35 minutes of basketball. You're down 13. I don't think you can afford to sit in the half court and let them run the shot clock down under 10 every possession.
22 to shoot for the Lions. They didn't need it, but Brady couldn't finish. Dolphins have gotten several gifts in the second half with turnovers and missed shots in close. This is Shkolny, and he was fouled. Looks like the referee was telling someone to calm down.
Just a little basketball, nothing to talk about. Just a little hoops. Sometimes we make a big deal out of nothing.
So David Shkolny will head to the line for a 1-and-1. as they rule he was not in the act of shooting. 2 huge free throws for CSI, and first of a pair is good. Second free throw by Shkolny is good. 2 for 2 trip to the line. Dolphins back within 11. Time running out in the second half.
Need a stop right here.
20 on the shot clock. Lazo defended by Ziris. Feeds it inside to Brady. Back up top to Torrey. He drives, goes right at Mallory, and the scoop layup is good.
There goes the most experienced player on the court, just making a big bucket at a time where the Lions really needed one.
Torrey finishing in heavy traffic underneath, and we have a whistle once again along the baseline as Shkolny is headed right back to the line. And if you're the Lions, no reason to give away points from the stripe. Shkolny's first free throw is perfect. One more to come. And Shkolny 2 for 2 again. So the Dolphins electing not to press, did not have anyone lined up for the rebound on those free throws either, as they play for stops, and immediately CSI commits a foul. Foul is charged to Austin Mick. And heading to the line will be Darren Fergus.
Wish I knew what the call was there. I mean, Austin Mick got called for the foul away from the ball, but it's, as the CSI team is trying to come back, you just can't march Molloy to the free throw line.
One more from the line for Fergus. And that rattles in. Lions by 13 again. This is Ziris. Gets a screen from Mallory. Ziris thought about a 3 for a moment. This is Shkolny. And blocking foul is the call. So Shkolny, for the 3rd straight possession, will head to the line, this time for 2. But first, we will have our final media timeout of the game inside of 4 minutes to play. Our score, Molloy College 56 and the College of Staten Island 43.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can. And then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we are back from the tank under 4 minutes to play, and the Dolphins clinging to life down the stretch as they trail by 13 points. And David Shkolny makes it 5 straight from the line as Dolphins pull back to within 12. And second free throw short. Lions would be wise to use as much of the shot clock as possible here. As they work it around the perimeter now, this is Fergus. Fergus looking to drive. Brady, mid-range jumper from the free throw line, and that might be the dagger.
It's going to be hard to score 14 points playing at this pace, so Molloy just needs to take care of the ball, run the shot clock down, and, it's going to be hard for CSI to be able to come back for a win.
And shot by Ziris, short, rebounded by the Lions, and they will take it slow up the floor. Only 44 points for the Dolphins offense today. The defense showed up in this game, only allowing 58, many of those coming on some very difficult shots for the Lions. Molloy shot 40% in the game, and Dieng can't add to that, but he does dive to the floor, and shot clock violation is the call, as the Dolphins never had possession, and it will be CSI basketball.
That's the microcosm of the game today. CSI needed that ball way more. The end of the shot clock for Molloy, and multiple efforts from Molloy to just try to get the basketball, and no CSI Dolphin player on the floor. That just describes the game today.
Definitely a letdown for fans of this CSI team, coming off of two big victories, one against unbeaten Pace University, the second against fellow CUNY institution and ECC rival Queens College. CSI was in search of their third straight win this afternoon. Looks like they're going to come up short as we are inside of 3 minutes to play. This is Mallory. And he takes it inside and is rejected by Brady. Fires it out to Ziris, 10 on the shot clock. That's Velasquez with a wide open three off the back iron and rebounded by Mallory. New 20 for CSI on the shot clock, and Ziris is fouled. Clock stopped at 2:19. For Lazo, that is his third personal, and the team in the penalty as Ziris connects on his first free throw. Fallon back into the game for Molloy. He's in double figures. He has 10 points on 3 of 6. Stephen Torrey with 11 points on 4 of 8. Darren Fergus only 2 of 9, but he has 10. A perfect 6 of 6 from the line, as the Dolphins still choosing not to press. And the Lions are free to run off as much time as they'd like, shy of 30 seconds. This is Fallon, handoff to Dieng, and his pull-up off to the left, rebounded by Brady, and he's fouled. Fouls continuing to pile up in the second half. That last foul call against the Dolphins makes 23 total foul calls.
It's interesting to let them run a shot clock down and not grab an offensive rebound. So you cut it down to 10 with 2 minutes left. Conceivably, you can make something happen and kind of put some pressure on the Molloy guards, but we've elected to sit back and let them control the pace of the game.
A couple of days back was the anniversary of T-Mac scoring 11 points in just a few seconds. So
I think it was 13.
13. Including a game winner at the buzzer, and if that doesn't prove that anything is possible, I'm not sure what does with 2 minutes remaining in the game, but it will be Dolphins basketball, 1:47 on the clock. They inbound from the baseline.
And if you were lucky enough to watch, the alumni game earlier, you would say that myself was channeling some inner T-Mac throughout the game, especially on Blucci Valbrun. If he's listening, I got some of my high moments off of Blucci. So, Blucci, I thank you for making my alumni game experience memorable.
There is video evidence to back it up now, as, of course, we did broadcast our alumni game earlier. You had some words for the commentary desk during that game as Bryce Waterman hits a three from the right corner. And the Dolphins retreat back onto defense, leading by 10. The Lions can run this down to about 1 minute and 8 seconds. They're backing in as Torrey is double-teamed, able to get it to Brady. Hop step underneath the rim, and he banks it in. Dolphins looking to push, but maybe too little too late as they trail by 12, 1:15 on the clock.
It's impossible to come back if you don't pick up the pressure. It's just not going to happen. There's not enough possessions left in the game.
We're shocked to see the Lions attempt a shot so quickly, but Shkolny tries the three and is short. 1:05 on the clock, and the Lions can run off another 22 seconds from here. This is Fergus, who had himself a good second half. Got to the free throw line, which was key. Many of the second half points in this game coming from the line as he lays it in to give the Lions a 14-point lead again. In the second half, the two teams have combined for 58 points as Zeros is short on the three. Waterman thought about it, finds Velasquez in the corner. He tries a three. That's good. And the Dolphins are back to within 11. Waterman commits the foul with just under 31 seconds on the clock, and if they were going to commit a foul at that point in the game, might as well press sooner.
Dolphins foul, number 12, Bryce Waterman, his first. Team is in the bonus.
That will send Fergus right back to the line, but back to my point, in the half now, 61 points scored between the two teams, and of those 61, 24 came from the free throw line.
Good stat, Joe.
That's 25.
And yeah, you got to give Molloy a ton of credit. They came in here, they jumped out early. They really did a good job on defense the entire game. Their offense picked up as soon as the second half came. And they did not come in here and play like a 1-7 basketball team, which is the mark of great coaching and a great program. And Coach Marquardt is the championship coach in this conference, and he's a very experienced coach. He's had great teams. He knows how to win, and he has these guys playing hard. So definitely expect from Molloy as they get in the conference and they go to 2-0 in conference to really pick up what they need to do.
So Molloy will stay unbeaten within the ECC. For the Dolphins, they will drop to 1-2 in conference play, 2-6 overall on the season. For the Lions, this victory is their second. They are 2-7 on the year. And with that final buzzer, that brings a close to this game. The Dolphins drop it to the Molloy College Lions by a final score of 65-52. Our next broadcast coming up in just a few short minutes as CSI Dolphins women's basketball returns to the tank. They will take on the Lions as well in the back half of today's doubleheader. For our engineer, Nino Cruciata, my broadcast partner, TJ Tibbs, this has been Joe Foreman. We thank you for listening and thank you for watching. Dolphins drop this one, the front half of our doubleheader, by 13. Be sure to stay tuned right here on the ECC Network for women's basketball coming up in approximately 30 minutes.